Hi to all my friends around the globe. In this video of Hoya care for the advanced grower, I will talk to you about blooms and why buds fail before blooming. You all know flowers are the reproductive organs of a plant, and the best crosses are made using the best quality flowers. Therefore, a plant should not be only growing healthily but blooming healthily to pollinate and harvest a good seed pod. Before you get to that, how do you get a perfect blooming out of your plant? We all know any plant has to be healthy and receiving the best growing conditions of lighting, nutrients, airflow, and most importantly, be disease free. How would you induce blooms in your healthy orchid or Hoya? There are several tips and tricks. First one, watering but not fertilizing. Second one, changing the location of your plant. Third, providing a much cooler temperature and shorter day lengths. These are a few tricks we can use. What we do here is we are taking the plant out of its comfort zone, so all of its internal systems are tricked into inducing blooming. But how must you be vigilant to mitigate a potential risk of bloom fail in your growing environment? Firstly, let's find out what are the risks of bloom fail. You know, blooms are induced in most Hoyas and orchids when the temperatures are cooler and the day length is shorter. So sudden weather changes like cool to severe humidity or even continuous rain and drastic drops in temperatures can drop forming or already near blooming buds. Any which way the temperatures fluctuate, blooms can fail. And this doesn't only relate to buds, but already open blooms will fade quickly too. That is my first risk of bloom fail because of severe temperature fluctuations within a short period of time. The second risk is nutrient deficiencies when fertilizing needs are inconsistent. This is not specific to an already established and always blooming Hoya like my Hoya Sunrise, but majority we grow from seeds or cuttings. As the third risk of losing blooms, which is wise to remember, is fertilizer falling on buds. At the very early bud forming stage, it is okay, but not when the petals are fully formed. Also, definitely not when flowering. Fourth risk for a bud blast is insufficient water during bud formation. As you know, buds take up a huge amount of energy from its plant for a blooming. Therefore, a good water intake of a plant is crucial to carry all nutrients to all structures of the plant. Fifth risk of a bloom fail is the low immunity a plant suffering from a root rot or a pest attack. Buds may appear but fail also along with peduncles if one or more structures in the plant are also failing. Repotting while buds form is the sixth point I will cover as a cause for bud blast. Buds may open for a very small period or all the buds would blast most of the time when you repot while forming buds. This is why most of us cut off the existing orchid spike, whether blooming or not, before a repot. because the already acclimating plant can die off due to all strength being pulled into the blooming. You can also postpone the repotting until the blooming is done. However, we cannot take off peduncles from Hoyas just because it's acclimating and it's trying to bloom. But the advantage in growing a Hoya is it's much more easier to get a Hoya to acclimate to its new media than an orchid. It's a decision you have to take considering the knowledge you have on orchids and Hoyas. Quite frankly, I have taken off peduncles from Hoya elliptica when it kept trying to bloom but failed due to the insufficient energy the plant had. Leaving one peduncle for the elliptica, I took off all other peduncles. Then the plant started throwing off new growth. The seventh risk of bud fail is the quick bud formation just after a week or two of repotting. As you saw on my Hoya densifolia, only half a peduncle bloomed and lasted 2 days. Also keep in mind, during a transition to a new media, not only buds but a few peduncles and leaves may drop too. Do not worry, as it is normal when repotting. All what you lost will be recovered in new growths once a good root system is established in the media. For further information, please click on the above link. The eighth risk is the orchid or Hoya kept near ripening fruits because of ethylene gas emission. Yes, it's true. We have seen this so many times in spiking orchids when it's moved near to a bowl of fruit in a kitchen or a dining room. As fruits keep ripening up, they emit ethylene, which is a toxic gas to buds. In the same lines, if I state more examples or instances, continuous smoke from burning wood, aerosol sprays, or fragrant candles may blast buds due to the special oils and fragrances enhancing them. Ninth risk of bud blast is the human touch with unclean hands. When we are in awe of buds, we touch them. Same goes for new leaves. When they newly pop up, they are at a too sensitive of a stage, and touching would transmit oils in our own skin along with dirt, which would compromise the blooms. And the last and the 10th risk, in my opinion, is the loss of happy sap around forming buds or leaves because of ants and buds devouring it. We call this the happy sap, correctly named since this sugary taste sap is only visible in Hoyas or orchids when the plant is in a happy state. And ants love this, but too much of a loss of happy sap can lead to 1 or 2 buds to dry up. I also think this sap provides protection from drying out in the high humidity weathers. As you can clearly see, most of these reasons are silly mistakes or unavoidable circumstances by us. And also, there are Hoyas which bloom no matter what change it experiences. But it's good to be educated of all risk factors to enable you to understand what's going on with your plant and mitigate them successfully. My main intention is to share my experience with you. And do you know what growing for many years has taught me? Patience. Patience to understand and correct errors, and patience to wait for results. Don't work hard on your plants, but work smartly, and the result will be closer than you think. This relates to life as well. I hope everyone is doing well. despite what's going on around you. God bless you, and see you again with another video soon. Bye bye.